Many athletes dream of competing at the professional level and going overseas. According to the NCAA, over 460,000 students compete as NCAA athletes at American universities, but only a select few get the chance to compete at the pro level. I was one of these athletes. So I'm Brianna McKellery. I'm 23, and I've been playing basketball since the age of 9. And it was only when we moved to Maryland and they had all these different organizations, AAU teams, summer clubs where people can get a part of and you can play and you can compete. And it started off as being fun and being that I was tall. So I said, you know what, let me give it a shot. Maybe I'll be good at it. You never know. So I started playing basketball on these AAU teams and competing, at the national level when I was 13. I figured, you know what, let me be serious about it, be dedicated to it, and see where I can take this. So I played in high school during the state championship, which we won. So I went to Arundel High School. It was really big accolades. We won districts, we won counties, and we won state championships. So I was really happy to be a part of a really winning organization. It's something you want to stick to. It was fun for me. I was, really into it. So then towards my senior year and I'm playing varsity and we're at state championships, these are the events where you have so many college and university coaches scouting you. So it's like your time to shine. So we, competed at state championship. We won in overtime my senior year. Even though basketball is viewed as an American sport, many British citizens are just as passionate about it, like Lauren.
Me, I used to be a dancer when I was a kid. I was a dancer for years, and then at 8 years old, a couple of coaches came into my primary school. I was doing just like a brief, like a taster session.
Right.
And I absolutely loved it. So then they said, if you want to keep coming, come down on a Saturday to Regisdale Basketball Centre, and you get 3 more taster Saturdays, and then we'll put you in a team. So I remember I came home and I begged my mum and dad. So then on the 3rd Saturday when they put me in the team, my mum said, look, you're in this team now, you've got to make a decision. And I was like, basketball. So I moved to, it was in Trafford, and it was called Manor High. Moved there, that's when I started playing with Georgia Jones, who now plays at Loughborough.
Right.
You played against Georgia?
Yeah.
Played with George, and then that was it then. Met George. I remember my mum saying to me, she never took it me serious, and then when I started getting all the people, like Henry Mooney, Joe, everyone involved,
all this interest and stuff.
Yeah, then she was like, okay, I'll take you serious now.
Right.
And then with the school, because it was a private school, I think I had to pay a little bit of tuition, but then my second year I got a full scholarship to the school. And so then that was mad when I first got there. That was a bit of a culture shock in the sense. I started getting recognized my junior year with college coaches. It was just very competitive getting in and getting a scholarship for athletics. And I kind of struggled with having that self-motivation. So for me, when I graduated high school, I didn't know where I was going. I was a bit, discouraged, and I was like, you know what, maybe I just need to stay in state, pay in-state tuition, and go to a local school. I was getting scouted by smaller scale schools, Division II, which is not bad. It's still pretty good. So I was open to it. I graduated in May, and then by mid-June, a school in Nyack, New York, upstate New York, offered me a full ride. It was a full ride, didn't have to pay for my education, and it was in New York. I always dreamed of going to school in New York. I went to Nyack in September, did really good my freshman year. I kind of had to prove myself, but once I did, they saw what I was capable of. You have to maintain, the grades and the GPA in order to continue to play. But I was already used to that, being that I played all throughout high school. You can't play if you don't have the grades. That's just how it works. So I had good SAT, pretty good ACT as well. and I didn't have a problem getting into schools.
If I did not get the grades, I did not play. So
Oh,
obviously,
yeah.
first week there, I'm just being typical Lauren, not really doing schoolwork, homework, bye, nope. And then it gets to the Thursday, grades come out, Lauren has D's and F's, and she didn't pass this week, so Lauren didn't play on Saturday. So like my first month there, didn't play any games, didn't see the court because I wasn't doing the work.
Yeah.
Then when I finally realised, like, so wait, if I just do the work, I can play. So then that was it. Then I started working my ass off. Ended up winning the national championships. I was on like the all Metro team with Kevin Durant. Like it was me and he won Player of the Year and was on the all Metro team, and then I won. I was on it as well. It's on the internet somewhere. And then from then, that's when I got recruited. You know, people come watch you play when you go into different tournaments. I played AAU my first summer there, and my second summer there I also played AAU, and that's when Marquette picked me up. Marquette picked me up, I signed, good to go.
I got really good playing time. I averaged like 19, 20 minutes as a freshman. That's really, really good, very unexpected as well. And I did really well as far as in my position. I was versatile. So even though, like I said, I was tall and I was kind of lanky, but not the strongest and biggest person, I used my quickness and my agility and my versatility to my advantage. So it kind of helped me because the coach was able to play me at different positions because of that. And that's when, towards the end of my second year, was when my coach pulled me in his office. He told me that I wouldn't be coming back and that they took my scholarship. So, not being emotional, being professional, because I kind of was, preparing myself for the worst when I went in for my interview. And my mind was just to move on to the next chapter of my life. I couldn't dwell on the moment that, I could sit here and be sad and be like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have any other school to go to. I don't want to go through the process of transferring. But I was like, you know what? If I sulk and be sad and upset right now, that's just going to delay what I need to do in order to move forward. So I was just a big girl about it, and I got all the game film I needed.
Come home for the summer, I get a call. The clearinghouse didn't clear me. Yeah. So I'm like, what? So basically what had happened, I think because I'd gone so young, counted none of my GCSEs, none of my schoolwork that I'd done in America. And then so all I had was my 2 years in the States. So my junior and senior year grades, obviously they weren't great, against my SAT or my ACT. And it basically just, even if I got a 2400, it was still not enough. But what Marquette did, my Marquette coach knew a coach from Kirkwood in Iowa, a community college that was a pretty good community college, and basically got me in there. Anyway, I remember getting there and I had a bit of an attitude. He picked me up at the airport, he took me to the place. For the first month I didn't speak to anyone, didn't speak to my teammates, didn't speak to my classmates, because I just did not want to be there. And then his coach pulled me in the office and he was like, excuse me friends, look, you can either keep being a jackass and hate every second here, or you can start accepting the point that you didn't get into Marquette and now you're here and we can take this ride together. And I just loved him because he was just straight. He was like, you can go somewhere else, you can go back, because what the other thing was is they said I could do is go back to prep school but not play for 2 years and just do schooling. So he was like, so if you want to do that, cool, bless, go do it. If you don't want to do it, get your head out your ass and stop being an idiot, basically. So he had that taught to me, and that kind of changed it then, and we went on to, we lost the first game of the season and then we won 35 games straight. We won the championship. I was a JUCO All-American. I was defensive player of the year. Then the next year I won MVP of the tournament. I won JUCO All-American again, and we won back-to-back national championships. So
you made the most of it.
And you know what? It was because of that coach. He was probably one of the best coaches I've ever had. His name was Kim Mule. He was just so straightforward. My coach at Marquette, she was a woman. That's the first time I've ever been coached by a woman, and for me that was very, very different.
I can relate.
And I just think I think women take everything personal, and it was just a different experience. And I just think, in my opinion, she had too many strong personalities on the team. She couldn't have coached the personalities. If we had a coach that was more strong within herself, we would have. If I'm honest, I don't think Terry knew herself, so you can't coach people if you don't know yourself. You can't, especially women.
So I just sent out my game tape to loads of different coaches. That's when I got interest from a coach at the Lincoln University of Pennsylvania. That's a historical Black university. Her name is Jessica Kern. Great coach. She played overseas, and this was her first head coaching job at the University of Lincoln. So that took a bit adjusting to. She was very emotional. I felt like she was kind of trying to pry into a bit of personal life and not focusing on, what I was there for, which was basketball. And in the end, it was a great learning experience. I felt like, if this is where I was placed, this is where I'm meant to be, I'm fine with that. And I made the best of it. There's a bit of ups and downs and rocky moments with the seasons there. I would go from starting to being benched to, playing 5 minutes to playing 25 minutes. So it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster. I had to kind of just, find my place and roll with the punches. When I graduated, I was kind of happy to get up out of there. Being a dual athlete is very hard. I had volleyball the first couple of months, and then it rolled into basketball season. They were back-to-back, so it was kind of like I never had a break. I had to be really on top of my academics as well. So it wasn't easy, but I did it. I graduated in May of 2014.
Anyway, from then, I did my 2 years in junior college. I then went to Marquette. Got to Marquette. That was different. If I could go back and not get the grades, and I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. I would not change a thing. I'd probably say JUCO is what made me ready for Marquette. I don't think I could have gone in the Big East as a freshman and been ready to play the Maya Moores and the Tina Childs. I think it was because I played in JUCO, and there's some good players conference. In JUCO. Yeah, and I think it set me up ready for Marquette. You were treated as a professional. It was just weird, and it was weird and amazing at the same time. I think Marquette spoilt me in the sense of when I then came home and played professional. I'm like,
it didn't compare.
I'm like, so if you're a trainer, like, I need my ankles taped, and they were like, the girls were like, no girl, you got to tape your own ankles. I'm like, what? Whereas at Marquette, after every game, I'd get a massage. I got a dead leg once, and I didn't play for 2 games because they were like, no, you can't fire your quad, you might tear your ACL. No, you're just running the treadmill in the pool. And I'm like, all right, like. It was just a whole different world. Amazing, but a different world.
Yeah.
When I came home in the December, I went and played in Iceland. I left and went and played in Gran Canaria. That was really good. I love Gran Canaria. So I played in the Spanish League, played against some of the top Spanish players. That was in Division A. Yeah. And then I came home for the summer. I played for Great Britain. Went to Scotland to play with them. I got cut by Tom Mayer. That was so that was my first time at Great Britain getting cut. Came home devastated, obviously. I played for Sheffield because then we had Poland. We're playing in Poland. We had the Europeans. I come into practice. He didn't play me at first. Anyway, Jo Leedham, she's now playing in France. She got injured, so he was kind of forced to play me. And actually had a really good summer. And then she got better and he did play me. And then I stayed with Sheffield because it was the Olympic year, and I just trained my arse off. But I'd say that was probably another good experience because I learned a lot about, I learned a lot about myself in the sense of like how to hit rock bottom and come back, how to work so hard for something and be let down.
Right.
Basically how to get over something that's not in your control. I controlled what I could and didn't work so well. We played well for him, and then it just got to the point where it was like, go and play back for him this year and deal with all that crap, or actually be an adult and live a life and not have to deal with another grown adult telling you that you've got a bad attitude and all this stuff like that. And so that's when I made the decision I didn't want to play for Great Britain. I kind of was getting over it.
When this opportunity came about, it surprised me, but it was like overwhelmingly happy. I was just like, yes, I get to continue playing basketball, and not only that, I get to travel. So I was excited. I jumped on the opportunity as soon as I got the chance. The process of getting my visa and my passport, it was a bit of a process. It was a process, but I did it, and I got here in the UK the 1st of October. I enrolled at the University of Salford for my master's, which was another thing that I was skeptical about, because when I graduated in May from my undergrad, I was like, I'm going to take a year off from school. I'm so tired. I want to put a book down, get some work experience, maybe go back in a year or two. But with this opportunity, I came over on a student visa. Part of the deal with me playing with the team was to go to Salford and get my master's in a 1-year program. Can't really beat that. They gave me scholarship, so my parents were like, "You're going."
I'd go back and do my American stuff. I'd go back and play overseas again. I'd even get dropped from the Olympics again, even though I wanted it so much, because it taught me so much about me. Like, I had to learn, and I think it's helped me understand people. I'm only 27 and I've lived a couple of lives. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I've lived. He always jokes and says, for a 26-year-old, you've lived like 10 lives, but you've got to understand an average 26-year-old is still trying to live that one life. And I guess when you put it like that, that's true. Like, who moves away from the parents at 16?
16.
Absolutely love my life. Yeah. So
great experiences.
Yeah, definitely met a lot of, like, I hardly have any friends in this country. All my friends are in the States. Like, because they're all over there. So I've made good memories and good friends, and I've had a good experience. And basketball has got me an education, and it's, like I said again, taught me a lot about myself, and it's also took me around the world. Like, I'm 26 and I've been to Hong Kong, Macau, Beijing. I went to the Beijing Olympics as an ambassador for that, and it's just little things, like, not little things, but things like that. So I do.
So worldly.
Yeah, I know. I do. That's why I think now at 27, I'm not upset to leave ball, because I think you've done me good. Like, I'm ready now to be this life. Do you know what I mean?
So here I am 1 year later, and I'm so glad I took this opportunity. There's ups and downs. I get homesick. It was hard making friends at first, but being with a good group of girls on the team with the Mystics was, they were so welcoming, so inviting, and very nice girls. And I wouldn't trade this opportunity for anything. You just live and you learn. And being that I'm young, I'm glad that I achieved something this great at this age, and was able to kind of figure out life for myself here and find out who I am. Being on your own, away from family, away from friends, in a new country is such a big and brave step. And a lot of people kind of commend me on that. Like, I don't know how you did it, but I did it, and I'm happy I did, and I wouldn't change it for the world.